Bon dia. My name is Dehennin. I'm working for the French National Education Ministry. And I will talk to you about how OpenNebula change how we do things. The first mission for the AOL team, as we call it, is to build and maintain the AOL GNU Linux distribution. It was done in 2001, firstly for firewall and VPN solution. Now we have much more. And we have some other roads to do, but the main mission was the Linux distribution, which is quite challenging because by that time we are only doing physical hardware tests. We have few computers and burning the CD-ROM, making the installation by hand, etc. It was a little bit cumbersome. We have some lag contention, the hardware, etc., etc. Some of us, when I came to the team, I had a new computer with KVM hardware acceleration. It was quite great, but only 2 or 3 VMs is not sufficient to simulate a complete infrastructure. So we need some elasticity. We were looking for virtualization solutions since a long time, but we never found something good. So in 2012, we bought 2 new big workstation gamer machines, and we made some real testing party. By that time, Proxmox Mox needed a reboot to add a new network. It was a no-go for us. It changed. They use OpenVSwitch now, so this is not an issue anymore, but it's too late. We tried Archipel. It was really interesting. I really like to talk to my VM through Jabber. Very funny, but not really usable, in fact. GNU was promising, but we couldn't even upload an ISO image to simulate an installation, which is a no-go for us too. And it was not really working as expected. And by that time, OpenStack was already too much, really too much. So we didn't even try to use it because we have only 2 hardware servers, and they recommend 3 to start. So we start with OpenNebula 3.8. So Philip told it yesterday. It was really unexpected because we didn't even hear about it. It came up from nowhere. We found it in the Debian distribution. It was packaged, so we tried the installation, apt-get install. It was a quite experimental installation, and we give users access. So users is the AOL team, a dozen of people, and just a warning: never make an experimental setup of a useful software and give access to users, because it's not an experimental setup anymore, okay? It's in production, right? So the first use of the OpenNebula was what we did locally on our workstation. We did the same, but in OpenNebula. It was much better than Viet Manager, Viet Viewer, etc. Much better, but we needed to write some documentation, to use some convention, etc., to ease the use of OpenNebula. It was a little bit a problem because everybody was admin, okay? Everybody needed to create their own network, to create their own images, their own templates, etc. Everybody was admin. It was a problem for me. I'm the OpenNebula administrator, one of them. And as not everybody develop the same skills on the software, there was a load on higher skilled users, me, and it was a problem for me. So I would like to ease that part. During this first use, we found some use case and what we needed to do to improve our use. So we mostly saw that we only use short life VMs. Okay, we set up a VM, we made some code, we trash the VM, etc., and we do testing like this: short life VM, no long time production VM, or few of them now, but by that time absolutely none. We would like to factorize the VM templates, because every user's creating their own templates is not efficient, because they were always asking me how to do this or to do this. We wanted to ease the use to the maximum ease of use of OpenNebula. And we wanted to start to build some QA environment, reproducible, to see how our software is improving between versions, and making development in a production-like environment, you know, the DevOps thing in the title of the presentation. So, the complete infrastructure per user, this is only a part of it because we have 25 networks, so it doesn't fit in the picture. So every user has a set of dedicated networks with a gateway on that network. So I will see you. I have this. Here you have the gateway, our own workstation network, and we get through the gateway to our own virtualized environment. So we wanted to make virtual environment per services. We tried the services, but we have a request, a feature request not implemented yet, was to automatically create the whole set of network when you start a service, an open flow service, a one flow service. So we work around this limitation by creating networks for each user. Each user has his set of own networks. So we use standard names. We isolate everything with VLAN. We use OpenVSwitch to do this. And we have one user and one gateway. The gateway on our workstation network to give access to his own virtual infrastructure. With hopefully sharing variant templates is possible, but you need to remove the uname on the network. It's very important because OpenNebula in this case will look for the network of the same name owned by the users running the VM, okay? So when we start a DHCP server, we don't want every DHCP server to start on the same network. We want them to start on each one network. Next, we automatically generate user environments. So as I said, we have more networks. Today we have 25 networks per user to build a complete infrastructure. And we have 21 accounts in the OpenNebula system. So doing it by hand is quite cumbersome. So we automate everything. We set up the contextualization. We didn't use the context package from OpenNebula. We write our own tools, quite easy to do. And the automation take care of generating and updating the virtual networks. From time to time, we are adding networks, and you have a Jenkins job to do this. Okay, the Jenkins job run and see if there is new networks declared in the configuration. If the user don't have it, it's created for the user. So we are using Jenkins to make the user infrastructure. So we use it to make continuous integration for the operating system. The first thing we provide is an ISO image, okay? So the first thing we must test is that we can do the installation from the ISO. It was a little bit challenging because we only had a VNC console, okay? We need to interact during the setup. We need to choose what to install, the firewall, the file server, etc. So it was image-based. Okay, we make we compare images and we do action depending on the image. It was a challenging part. Then we do some daily upgrades to find if there is a problem. Several months ago, Ubuntu, we are based on Ubuntu, provides an updated libxml2 which broke our tools. Okay, we found it the day it broke, so we were able to report the bug, and the bug was fixed within the day. So it's a good thing that our users don't be in front of that problem. Some of them were, because everybody who were upgraded the same day had the problem, but it was quickly fixed. We check that default configuration in targeted environments are working, and we try to import data, like we populate the LDAP database, okay, for users, for Samba users, for things like that. And at each step of the Jenkins job, we produce images and the corresponding templates, the corresponding VM templates. This permits to ease the infrastructure setup for users. So this is Jenkins, for if people don't know about it. So we have per versions results. So 2.6.0 is the development version. It's in RC. It's in release candidates now, but you see, everything is near green. So today, this infrastructure is quite powerful and quite useful. The Jenkins jobs are running every night. We have something like 120 VMs per night running. From the start, we have near 100K VMs, a lot of them, but short-lived. So we have many VMs, but not for a long time. And we use 3 terabytes of QCO images. And we don't have 25 terabytes of storage, only 4 terabytes. So QCO is very useful for us. We don't have many performance issues. We don't have performance needs, really. So this is our setup. Each Jenkins job produces the VM template. So when a developer, because we are users of the OpenNebula, but developers of the EOL distribution, when we want to do something, we just need to pick the right template to the right step. For example, if I want to do something to configure the server, I would like to start a VM at the fresh installation state, okay? Nothing done, just the fresh installation state. If I want to make something else, I may need the after upgrade, or after configuration, or after user imported in the VM. And this is really our job. So this is recommended workflow for development. It depends mostly of what we need to do, but most of the time, this is the good workflow. In fact, we just need to prepare the infrastructure. So running the VMs, okay. We are using Git for development, so we create branches, because most of the time we need to act on several repositories at the same time. And we clone everything on the VM. Next, well, do what we need to do. Just code, try, install and try. And if it's not working, most of the time it's not working the first time, we loop. And when everything is working, we need to clean up our branches, make things readable for users, readable for people looking at the Git history. And next, we need to create a package. So we have an automated tool to create package from the Git repository. The package is installed in the development repository. We need to clean up the VM, okay, to retry directly from the packages. So before 5.0, we have the delete recreate for every user. Since 5.0, it doesn't exist anymore. So I created a VM hook to create an initial snapshot just at the start. So we can revert that snapshot, this snapshot easily. It was before it was just a 2-click action. Now it's a 3 or 4-click, but it's easy. And well, test the new package directly like a user. This is important because sometimes we may do things and it's not integrated in the package for make file issues or things like that. And well, if you fail to make the test, Jenkins will hopefully see it. Hopefully. But it's not sufficient to do only Jenkins jobs. We are using Squash TM to make some QA with the targeted environments. So we set up the prepared environment and just place the test. Easy, nothing to do, nothing to adapt in that targeted environment. But so for some critical features, we need to make some tweaks. So we start an infrastructure, change the configuration because we need to test that configuration change. So we have full environment test and specific test. And OpenNebula help us to set up those environments and adapt them. So it is the work. We have some limitation with because it was on test bed, okay? It was a test, you remember? It was experimental, but we managed to create 40,000 VMs on that 2 dedicated cluster. We saw that we were memory bounded. The CPU was not really used because it's not just tests, no CPU intensive tasks. But we have a big problem with workgroup NAS. We bought a workgroup NAS to centralize and to have more space. But when you have something like 60 or 80 VMs doing NFS access, it's not working anymore. Big slowdown. So we changed our infrastructure. We bought 2 new Dell blades. Well, first we bought 2 machines for a first VDC for the AOL team, and we get another one, an old one for another team, dedicated servers. The second VDC is dedicated server. The storage was changed to use a SAN, okay? So for the first VDC, we have the main data store where we are storing the main images. And we have a dedicated production loon because now we have 5 or 6 production VMs. So it's quite complicated to set up, and it's quite complicated to maintain because Caressing Pacemaker is quite touchy. Sometimes it gets crazy, and when it gets crazy, everything is killed. Sometimes we need to reboot completely the cluster. This is the only OpenNebula downtime. Okay, it's not related to OpenNebula, it's related to the storage. Maybe I'm not skilled enough to maintain Caressing Pacemaker, but as I see on the internet, I'm not the only one. Another problem with the SAN storage is that we have a lot of cold storage. Okay, we generate images, rarely used. Okay. Except for the development version, which is instantiated every day by everybody. The old version are instantiated more rarely. So all those images use the same storage, use the same LUNs. And we have, in that picture, we have 2 LUNs. We started with 2 terabytes. And when it gets full, we added another one, but we just extend the LVM. And the I/O are not spread across the LANs, okay? Every I/Os are done on the second one. So that's a problem for us because at 6 in the morning, we have lots of cron jobs running and doing read I/O. So in the future, we want to replace our homemade orchestration code with SoulStack because We did not use it at first. We thought it was quite easy to do something. It was tests. So we had something to do the job, but today it's not enough. We started to host other teams, not only the whole team. And we would like to move to self-storage to get the storage problem away. We will find new problems, maybe, but the old one is too much for us. Maybe new ones will be manageable. And as we do development, we want to use Docker. We see the presentation yesterday. To use Docker inside OpenNebula to ease the Docker installation for developers. The main killer feature of OpenNebula, this is an important slide, I can't skip it. And that's the reason we keep it. Not the reason we use it first, but the reason we keep it, and it will be hard to make us change. The first thing is very low load on the team. Okay, I'm near the only one who does the job, and it's not my main job. It's 1 day a month or something like that to maintain the OpenNebula. It's not big deal. That's very important for us because we are an agile team, we are integrated, and we do our own stuff inside the team. So hosting our VMs is done inside the team, so it must not be a very high problem for us. The most killer feature is that we can adapt OpenNebula to our own needs, and we can contribute. So we report some features and bugs, more bugs and features. The green numbers are what the total numbers. So you see you have 3 features open on 17 and 4 bugs open on 46. This is a good thing because OpenNebula system responds to our issues or tickets, even if we don't have support. This is the main killer feature for us, and muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Any question? 2 minutes remaining.
Does anyone have any questions?
I'm not sure if I missed something at the very beginning. Can you talk more about the users and their networks? If you were talking about 25 networks per user.
Yeah.
Can you describe around that a little bit more?
Oh yeah, I can. Let's find the good slide. Okay, so in that infrastructure, we are simulating our users' network, okay, our users' infrastructure. So it's mainly schools. So in the schools, you have the internet access. So we made an artificial internet access. They have firewall and VPN machine. So we simulate them in OpenNebula. So we reproduce a complete infrastructure with the workstations, the servers, etc. to be like in school, in fact. We don't have the users, the school users, so we need to connect to the VNC console of workstations to do some things, testing the firewall or things like that, the proxy, etc. But each user has a dedicated set of networks to reproduce this. That's the point. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, somehow I thought maybe
Okay.
your users each needed, like one person each needed that.
Yes, each person needs a complete infrastructure. Any more questions?
I have one question myself. Can you explain
Yeah.
again the problem with uname? I didn't get that at all.
The uname problem was not really a problem. Yes, this one. We have one template for a dedicated server. Imagine we have, in our environment, we have establishment school 1, okay? We have file server in that school 1, and instead of having one VM template per user using its own school 1 network, we are defining only one VM template school 1 file server using the network named school 1 network. but removing the uname in the VM template for the network permit to share that VM template. Each user will instantiate the same VM template, but the network used is the one owned by the user, not the one owned by the one creating the template.
Got it. Any more questions? Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.